Have you ever seen bento grids like these on websites like Apple and Framer? Well, in this video I'll show you how you can set these up from scratch in a way that they stay fully responsive inside the Framer and without writing any code. My name is Nandi, this is Framer University, and let's get started. So I want to make sure that this video is easy to follow along with, so I'm going to break it up into 3 simple sections. In the first section, we're going to be building the base card. So this card component will be, the thing that we'll be reusing inside of our grid multiple times. Then we're going to set up the grid itself in the second section. I'm going to show you how to set it up in a way and structure it in a way that it will be easy to make it responsive later on. Grids can be slightly confusing for beginners in Framer, so I hope that this will help you. And then in the third section, we're going to actually make it responsive and make sure that it looks great on all devices. So yeah, without any further ado, let me jump into the first section and start building the base card. So you can see it here, by the way, on my screen. This is the final thing that we are building. And as you can see, it is nicely responsive. So the first thing is to build the card itself. By the way, just a quick note, this is from the Framer website, so this is a recreation. This is not my own design or whatever. So yeah, I'm jumping into Framer, and here it is also really important that in order to follow along with this video, you can just remix this starter project. The link will be in the description. And if you remix this, copy this to your account, you will go to the left panel, pages, and you're going to find the starter page here. If you click this, you're going to see the same thing that I'm seeing here. We have a little setup right here, so we only have to focus on the grid itself. So we have all the breakpoints set and stuff like that, and we also have the images that we're going to be working with. So yeah, just go to the starter and start building with me. So to create that card, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to just grab one of these images and put it within my desktop breakpoint. So I'm gonna just click it, press Command and X on my keyboard, this cuts it and basically put it on my clipboard. And then I can just click within this content, or I'm not even sure where should I put it. Yeah, maybe within this content frame here. You can see that on the left layers panel, I'm selecting the content L, and I'm putting this within with Command and V. So I'm just pasting it in. Perfect. So now I can just wrap this inside of another stack, because if you take a look at here, let me just go to my version of this. So you can see that this card is actually within another card because it has, so it has this little border around, this colored border. So yeah, in order to create that, we'll have to wrap it in a stack. So the way you can do that is by either right clicking and clicking add stack, or using a shortcut, which is Option Command and Enter. So once you click that, you can set this to, first of all, let's set it to width fit content. And then I'm going to actually set it to fixed, and for the height as well. And then within this image, you can see that I'm no longer selecting the style I just created, but the image itself. I'm going to set this to fill width and fill height. So now if I start changing the stack itself, the image will be resizing with it because it is set to width fill and height fill. So now just rename these stacks and different layers so we can know what is going on. So in the left panel, I renamed the stack to card. And then this within will be actually called image. So now to make sure that we have some space around, we can just select the card stack that we just created and increase the padding value here on the right panel. I'm going to set it to 10, and you cannot really see the effect. You can roughly see it here, but it will be really nicely visible if we set some fill color on the card stack. So I'm going to click here on the right panel, and now a fill color has been assigned. I'm going to just copy this color that we're using here. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. So now you can see that we have this colored border around. So that's pretty good. I'm going to also make sure that the corners are rounded, as you can see here on the original. So probably the image within will have 4 radius, and then maybe the card, the wrapping frame is going to have a little larger, maybe 12. Let me see if that looks great. And yeah, that looks pretty cool. We're going to also set a border on this card. So I'm going to go here to border. It is going to be white 10%, And basically that's it. Now what we're going to be able to do is just simply turn this into a component. So I'm just going to press Option Command K on my keyboard. This will turn it into a component. And then after hitting create, now we're seeing the actual component canvas. So this is where you set your component up with different variants and hover states. So for our card, we're gonna need to have a little hover state, because when I hover over this, I want it to slightly, get a little bit darker. So to create that, it's really simple. First of all, we're gonna rename this variant one to default, because I like renaming all of my elements and layers to keep everything organized. And then I'm gonna press here below the selected primary variant and click hover. Now I can define how it will look on the hover state. So I can just simply go to the right panel, styles, and then filters brightness 60%. So if I now go and preview this with this little icon here, or by pressing Command P on my keyboard, I can hover over this and see that it nicely has this hover state. So now what I can do is I can actually come back to the page and duplicate this, and I could, add different images and different colors to this component, but I cannot really do that right now because there's no way to do that. Like, I can click within and then maybe change the color, but what you'll notice is that it essentially changes the color on both component instances. So this is where we're gonna have to use component variables. So if we go within this card, we can bring certain properties out to the page level that we'll be using for customizing certain properties for different instances. So let's say we have the color here on this primary variant. I can go to the right panel and click the little plus button next to the field property. Here I can create a color variable. So this will be just a color variable, and we're going to be able to set it to a different color. We also need an image variable, so I'm going to also select the image and similarly create a variable, but here it's not going to be a color, but it's going to be an image. So that's it. We can also, maybe if you want to add different links to these cards, you could also create a link variable here on the right panel at the top. And basically that's it. Now we can just go through these different instances and change the color. So let's say we have this other one which has this orange color. I can come here, and now this other instance has that different color. So now all I have to do is to duplicate these cards a few times and then set different colors and images in these. Now what you're going to notice is that it is a little bit hard to now bring these images into these components, because here we have to upload an image file, and we cannot just drag and drop it here. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to kind of export these as images. But you can do that inside the framework. If you're using the desktop version and not the web-based version, you have an export option on the right panel. So you can select all of them here on the left, go to the right, export, and then just export 5 layers as PNGs. So now that we have the files, we can just select our second card component instance, and on the right panel, we can just choose the image, which is going to be this one. And yeah, basically that's it. You can see that it's slightly cut off here in the top right, so I'm going to select both of these cards and just slightly make them larger. So now you can see that they're not cutting off there. And yeah, I'm going to duplicate it again, and we're going to also have these square ones, so I'll have to change their size here to a little bit different, maybe to the same width and height. And I'm going to pick the color here, paste it in, select the image, done. I'm going to duplicate it again with Command D, pick the other color, paste it in, select the image, duplicate it again, pick the color, paste it in, select the image. This is going to be it. And now we're going to have the last card, which is a little bit taller. So I'm going to duplicate this one, make it a little bit larger like this. And then I'm going to choose image. This is our image. And then this red color will be pasted in here. And let me just resize it. I think, yeah, this is going to be the size roughly that we need. So now you can see that we just have these cards laid out here on the canvas. So we can finally go onto the second section on this video where we are setting up the grid. So now we have all the elements that we're using within the grid. So let's make the grid now. I'm going to select all of these cards. So on the left layers panel, I can just press down on the card and then hit shift and click here. Now all of them are selected and I can either right click again and add stack or hit option command and enter. So now you can see that we have wrapped them in a stack, but we don't really need a stack here. In this case, we need a grid. So how do we get a grid? Well, we can turn a stack into a grid by going to the right panel, and under layout, there's a type option that we can switch to grid. So now it is a grid. So what I'm gonna do first here is I'm gonna set the height to fixed and just make it a little bit smaller. Maybe something like this for now, but we're going to be adjusting this a little bit later. And then we're going to set the number of columns and the number of rows that we need. So you just basically have to think about what is the the number of columns and rows you need within your specific grid. So for example, in this case, I think we're going to have 3 columns and 3 rows. So let's do that. 3 columns and 3 rows. Now the gap can be adjusted slightly, maybe 15, so a little bit more. And one extra thing that we have to do here is go to the advanced and set the height to fill container. As you can see now it is fill container here, so I didn't have to change it, but just make sure that you have this option here as well. And now we can just go within and again select all the cards and set their width and height to fill. So now we have everything we need within this grid set up properly. So now all we have to do is to click and select these individual cards and just set how many columns and rows they span across. So in this case, the first card you can see here on the left is going to span across 2 columns and 1 row. So I can just set the column to 2 and I can keep the row 1. Pretty easy. I can then grab this red one, just move it to the start or like next to the blue one here, family style, which is the arrow case. I'm just moving it to the left, and then I'm gonna set the rows to 2, and that's it. Now we have this also set up perfectly. And then I think the last one, where is the, I think this orange will be have to move here and set the columns to 2 columns, and that's it. Now all we have to do is to tweak the height. So you can see that the images are cut off in a weird way if we are not having the correct height. So I'm gonna have around 1000 pixels here, maybe 1015, and basically that's it. Now it is set up perfectly. And again, I can just reorder these within. I can set how many columns or rows they span across. So this is again like a fully like customizable Bento grid setup that you can just use and place your cards within, or place your containers or frames, and put anything within them, either images or text layers or illustrations, whatever. So now all we have to do is to jump into the last section of this video and make it responsive, because what you're going to see that even though we have this grid on fill width, so it's filling up the available space within our viewport, it might start looking a little bit weird on these different viewports. So we can also just click this little button here, or again Command P to go into the preview mode and see how it starts adjusting at different viewports. By the way, by the nature of our starter project, it's already like having a great like structure. As you can see, when we go to tablet, it like switches to a smaller size, and on phone it does the same thing. It is thanks to the content frame here on the left panel, which is set to 1000 pixel max width on the desktop breakpoint, and then on the tablet it is switched to 700 max width, so this is overridden, and on the phone it is switched to 400 max width, so that helps with the responsiveness, keeping everything contained to a different size depending on the viewport or the device that we're using to visit this website. But how can we make sure that, okay, we are containing it to smaller and smaller sizes, but I want to make sure that these images are always nicely visible and yeah, they're not like cutting off in weird ways. So we can do a couple of things to solve this little issue. First of all, I kind of want to make sure that this grid is always keeping aspect ratio. So whenever it scales down because of the width change, it always changes the height accordingly to like keep the aspect ratio. I can just simply do that by here on the right panel clicking this lock button. So just make sure to tweak the height to get the perfect height, because this is the aspect ratio that you're gonna lock on. And now if I click this, you can see that on the tablet already we can see that, yeah, it looks much better. Now all the aspect ratios are kept, the images are nicely visible, and yeah, it's all good on tablet. However, on phone we're gonna have to do a couple of different changes. First of all, on phone, we're not really gonna need to have so much padding around these cards because it just feels too much. So we can go within the card, I'm just double clicking, and then here we can create a new variant for mobile. So I'm gonna click here, create a new variant, call it mobile, and then just change the padding value to something a little bit smaller. Maybe it's gonna be 6 or something like that. And then I can increase the image radius to match it up with the outer radius a little bit more. Yeah, 7 or 8 looks good, I think. Maybe 8 is a little bit more than what we need. 7 or 6, yeah, it looks great. So now we have a mobile variant specifically here designed for the mobile view. So I can select all of these cards here on the phone and I can switch their variant to mobile. Now you can see it's already much better. And then I can also go within and select the grid. So on the left panel, I'm selecting the grid and just setting the gap to something a little bit lower, maybe 10. And then, of course, maybe 3 columns is a little bit too much here on phone, so we can switch it to maybe 2. And then all I have to do is, or maybe 1, I'm not sure. No, I think 2. Yeah, 2 columns is good. And then I'm gonna make sure to deselect this lock because I want to change the height, but I cannot change the height now because it keeps this aspect ratio. So what I have to do is deselect the lock and then change the height. And once I have the height that I need, I can turn the lock back on. So now on phone it will try keeping a different aspect ratio. As you can see with this setup, we have like an extra element here that doesn't really look great. Of course we could change it to 2 columns and it's good, but maybe we just want to remove it by setting visible to no. And then it seems like we have to further adjust the height. So I'm going to deselect the lock again and set it to the correct height that we need and then lock it again. And basically that's it. Now it is fully optimized. You can see desktop, tablet and phone, all of these look great. And because of the setup that we have here on the content frame, these different max width values, 1000 here on desktop, 700 on tablet and 400 on phone, you can see that because of that, when I resize this, it is jumping into these different sizes without any in between states where it is like pushing and resizing. Everything is nicely contained and controlled, and we can see that, okay, this is how it looks here on the canvas, and we can say that this is exactly how it's gonna look on no matter what device you are on, because your device will definitely fit within one of our breakpoints, and yeah, it is going to just nicely display it in a fully responsive way. So yeah, that's it for this video. I really do hope that it was helpful and you could learn how you can create these advanced Bento grid layouts in Framer, because I know that it can be a little bit confusing for beginners when they first see this grid feature in Framer. So yeah, I hope that it was helpful. And also, if you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments. I'm gonna do my best to help you out. And yeah, make sure to also check out Framer.University. I have a bunch of more lessons like this, or resources, components that you can start using in your projects. So yeah, it's just a great resource if you are using Framer. And yeah, that's it. Make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.